I have a pillow and my towel, I have my blocks, and if you like a chair, so we'll be doing the pigeon pose option on the chair. I know I did that a couple months ago, and some of you hadn't done that. So if you put your knee up on the seat of the chair, slide your other leg back, hold the back of the chair, it's kind of a nice variation. You can do it on the floor and you can also do it on your back. So when we get there, we'll have options. And then we're also going to open the front of our body with the dancer pose and the crossbow. So we'll do the crossbow on our knees, which I generally tend to do. And then we're going to do the standing instead of bow pose. We're going to do the crossbow. Now that's going to be our challenge for our balance. And then we'll also do some pranayama breathing. So I've got nasal passages, so if you're congested, then you breathe through your mouth. So you do what you can. Welcome. Okay, so I'm gonna come to sit on my mat. I know my voice will not be very close to you as I go away, but this is what we need to do today. Thank you for your patience. Okay, so sitting either on your bum, on a chair, on a pillow, sukhasana, or some other way that just feels okay for your knees and your back and your hips. So I come to samastiti. Remember, that means coming to the moment, to be present. With all the distractions, it's a good thing to practice so you know where that place is. It's in us all the time. We just kind of stack things on top of it and then we forget. So as I sit mindful, Mula Bandha, base of my torso engaged, grounding myself into the earth so I don't feel like I'm just detached. And then the action of Uddiyana is that navel drawing in, this very physiologically supportive to our spine for those of us with back issues, but it also just helps to hold that integrity into us. And then the spine stacking, lifting, dropping the shoulders, crown of the head toward sky. And then if you want, you can hold on to your legs. You can use a mudra gesture. You can lean back. There are variations you should adapt to. With the eyes open, lowered, or closed, come to the breath. So with the breath, there can be distractions around you. The breath is just a nice place to rest your attention, to detach from those distractions. We will have them in my space as well. So just give this moment a time to dwell within, to see that bright light inside of you. And you know, the light inside of us varies. It can go bright red, it can be yellow, and it can be pure white. All the spectrums are the same as our emotions. The emotions, as we learn, can be managed with our breath and our intention and our awareness. We bring those same skills into our yoga practice, understanding it's not that we're perfect with our practice. We're just playing with our body. And so as you flutter your eyes open and bring the hands into your heart and slightly bow the head, we cultivate our attitude into one of gratitude. And then as you stretch those arms out to the side, try not to let the shoulders elevate as might be their habit. I'm going to begin reaching over to one side gently, moving slowly initially to understand how are things feeling in my body. Things can change from day to day, from moment to moment. As I center myself, I'll bring the arms together to make a big circle, and then drawing through my belly and bow my head. We know this is kind of a cat pose. As I lift up, I'll let my arms open back, lift my heart. You can look up if you want, if that bothers your neck or makes you feel dizzy, you don't have to. A bit of extension in your spine. You feel the anterior of your shoulder, kind of a cow pose. Going back and rounding yourself, rolling back toward the tailbone. Expanding and opening up, finding your own pathway, being aware of your own sensations. Sometimes things are there, sometimes not so much. And this time, come back center and relax your arms. So I'm going to take one of my legs and extend it forward. I'll shift so that you see better what my leg is doing down here. So my foot will go back and forth, and I can use my hands. I'm still sitting on a pillow. You can sit on another yoga mat, or you could just sit on your bum. If you're seated, you want that leg extended, and watch the foot as the toes come back and separate, and then press forward. If you tend to feel that you're going to cramp in your foot, you don't have to point the toe. Body's up nice and tall. This is just waking up our body. Now I'm going to lean back and grab hold of that leg I was working at the ankle, and now move it at the knee. So these bodies of ours have joints. The joints allow us to move. Over time, the joints can have their own issues, so we're going to see how they're going to play with us today. And then I'm going to lean back with my knee bent, and I'm going to pull the knee in and push it out. So there's lots of things I can do with my lower body. These are but a few. You may feel the warmth drawing in, and then I'll pause. So now I have Bandha Konasana, and I'm going to put the other leg out in front. Walk myself up and sit nice and tall. So this leg is bent. It can be at your calf, your ankle, or high in your thigh, wherever that feels suitable. Again, support your spine or not. Look down at the foot and flex it and stretch it forward. So sometimes if you only have a little bit, you can always take any of our yoga practices and do just the warm-up stuff, just to get lubricated, and then go on about your day or go to bed. All right, now I'm going to lean back and grab the leg and work at the knee joint. And if that leg can't go straight, maybe it needs to go out a little bit. There could be some popping and cracking, as long as it doesn't hurt, it's probably fine. And then I'm going to leave the knee bent and rest back on my hands, drawing the knee in and pushing it away. Find your breath being with you. Bandha Konasana, that means the bottom of the feet together, you're leaning back, and while you're leaning back, lift up your chest and notice how far open your knees go. For some people that's always available, but if you tend to be tight in the hips, this makes it more available. Now use the hands to walk yourself up, and then kind of rock on your sit bones so you're not laying back toward the tailbone, slumping into the back. You're sitting up. Now you can take one or two hands. You'll find if you take two hands, sometimes that support goes away. So it might be a little more prudent for you to take one hand at a time. But if you can do two, just realize that's quite a bit of challenge, and that is core work. So now I hinge. So as I move my torso through the spine, maintaining neutral spine, keeping my head not rounded but chin up. and then pausing forward. So I end up in some variation of a hinge. From here, I'm going to round forward to stretch my morning spine. So I round down, bowing my head, either looking at the feet, or sometimes maybe later in the day your head goes to your feet. Take your full breaths through your backside. Begin to round your back and roll yourself up. As you come up, fold up the legs. I'll turn and face again forward. This is where I drop my knees from side to side. And you may think not sitting on a pillow is better, so you can always like slide that thing out. Did you see who I brought to our practice today? I have a Frosty and a Frosty. I have a couple of Frosty the Snowman living here in the desert. It's a surprise. And let's do a little bit for our neck. So come back either to the cross leg. Maybe you're a fan of sitting on your knees or a yoga block. So just sit again as we kind of tend to these upper traps levators. So you can let your hands rest wherever they're resting and not tight. And let the head drop from side to side. Take as much time at each side to ascertain how are things. In its own way, this is body flossing. This simple move and the ones that follow, you could do anytime. You could do them at stoplights, just saying. You could do it sitting on an airplane. All right, let's look from side to side. Check in with your breath. Then I'm going to nod my chin, lift the chest. You know how this goes. As I bow my head, feeling the spine stretch a little more, and then lift the chest. You're welcome to drop the head. I don't know that it's free. So we get the upper body, particularly through the neck and shoulders, a little more available. And then the last one is a swimming motion, a little breaststroke motion. And can you grab the hands behind, grab them, lace them as you wish. Can you try and straighten the elbows? So I often remind you that there's asymmetry in our body. If you know you have that issue in your shoulders, like me, you consciously pull down the back muscles so the shoulders don't elevate due to weakness. We're moving over onto our hands and knees. Feel free to double up your mat, grab a towel to put under your knees or another pillow, and come onto all fours. The main thing in our yoga practice is to do things mindfully. So we place our palms. That doesn't work for your wrist. Be on knuckles, but point your thumbs forward. And we're going to turn the toes under. I'm very fond of doing bendy toes. Place the hand under the shoulders and the knees under your hips with the toes turned under this practice. I know there's a tendency to want to have the knees together and also to lean back. So make those corrections. And then remember where the shoulders were when we had our hands behind our backs. Hold your shoulders down. Let's move into cats and cows. Dropping the tailbone, engaging the core, bowing the head, broadening the shoulders. Breathing in and lifting up. You know I roll slow, so I'm taking my time. So I'm really feeling the extension and the flexion of my spine. And nothing should hurt, and that's all good. So it doesn't matter how far your cat and cows take you. You do it for yourself. Let's hold in that neutral position. I use the front edge of my mat as kind of my focus so my head doesn't drop. And I'm going to swing my hips from side to side, activating my obliques. If you ever need to get off the palms of the hands and you get onto the knuckles, totally appropriate. All right, a little hula motion. I like this on the hands and knees. I also like it when we do it standing. Change the direction. Activate the lower belly, the action of Uddiyana. And we'll take our first moment in child's pose. So my feet relax, my knees part, backing your hips up as far as your knees feel comfortable. The options with your arms can be to stretch them out, to fold them under, to place them back, or in prayer behind your head. And I remind you that anytime we're having a practice and you just need to get yourself together, you come to child's pose, take a few breaths, and return to the practice. We're going to move to a standing position because I want to open our hip flexors. We'll be back down on the floor momentarily. As you rise, try not to use your hands. If you've got a towel or something there, that's okay. We're just going to move away from whatever might be on the mat so you can just take a little bit of opening through your hip flexors. So we're going to bend the knees, push the tush, lift up the chest, and let the hips move forward. Now this may not mean a whole lot to you if you know you have pretty good opening in your hips. I will give the next position and come back center. The next one, my feet will narrow some, but not so close. And one foot will go back, so if you have a wall behind you as I do, be a little careful, on the ball of the foot. Foot went back on the ball of the foot. How are the toes feeling? So as I begin to bend the front knee, kind of a high lunge, but not a deep lunge, I can leave the back leg straight if that's preferable for my knee, but I'm still going to push the hip forward, so pressing that hip forward, lifting up my chest, and you can just feel that opening. It's from the back leg up that same side. And you can consider reaching the arms up. You don't have to look up because there is an element of balance if you didn't figure that out. If you did lift the arms, bring them down, hips go back, and step together. Same thing other side. Knees will bend, other leg goes back on the ball of the foot. Bend the front knee a little bit more. Now again, if your knee feels like it's better straight, it can bend. So in this case, it's an either or. And then the hip tips forward so the whole pelvis shifts. And then lifting up your chest and deepening. So you just begin to feel up that thigh to your hip flexor. And as you keep lifting up that chest, the option is to raise the arms. And breathe. So the experience should be up the front of the back leg. As you release the arms, bring the pelvis back and step up. Let's move to the inner thigh as it also plays into the movement or lack of movement through our hips. Maybe standing on the long end of the mat, and if you have something that we're going to come back down on your knees, step over it so you're straddling. So let's turn one of your legs out, won't matter which one. The hips will go back. You're going to bend the other knee. So I have one leg out. I'm bracing. I'm going to lift the toe and keep shifting my hips toward the bent knee. You can lean forward. At some point, the inner thigh of that extended leg, if you prefer the foot down, that's fine. Some people pull the toe up. So you've got support for your back, use your bandhas, and you should feel from the knee up to the pelvis. Use your hands to return upright. Check in with blood pressure if you bent forward. Correct that one leg, open the other leg. This knee will bend, that's pointing forward. The hips go back, the chest comes forward, the back gets support, and this is where you should feel things right here. Option is to lift the foot. So you don't always have to go down onto the floor. Slowly returning center with that breath, rolling yourself up, correcting your feet. Very nice. Let's go ahead and open the arms and clasp them behind. Lace them or hold them, straightening the elbows, dropping the shoulders, and raising the hands off the back. Might be a little easier than when we were seated. So I got my hands back here and I'm breathing. Mula Bandha, Mula Bandha. All of this precursor is going to help us in our crossbow. As I release, if there's something between your legs, step over it. And our last one is a little more for outer hip. Both knees will bend. So the right arm and the right leg, as I am facing you, stay bent. The left leg will straighten and the left arm will open up, and you should feel the hip of the straightened leg. Also a bit of rotation. You can look up, though you don't have to. Keep the right knee and the right arm bent and breathe. High hand comes down, you're back to both knees bent. Let's go to the other side. Left knee, left arm bent. Right leg begins to straighten, as does the right arm. You can turn and look up, pushing into that hip, outer hip. High hand comes down. Check in with blood pressure, so you want to lift the face first while you're here, and then go ahead and engage your glutes, your belly, and let's take a moment into Tadasana, the mountain pose. So we know that the mountain pose is foundational in terms of many of our poses, which we'll find in the, I'm just wondering if the piano is a bit too much, foundational in our dancer pose, in our crossbow. So many of the balancing poses rely on the elements, or even plank, chaturangas. Everything is very foundational. So this may not ever seem like much, but just get all the elements, the rooting of the feet, the engaging of the legs, the finding of the muscles, the lifting of the spine against gravity, shoulders down. It's a good pose. As the arms go all the way out and up and over, and palms into the heart. Returning to our all fours, not using your hands. So we're going to go into the crossbow. Onto all fours, back to that same alignment that we had. Now I'll leave it to you which opposition you're going to use, right arm, left leg, left arm, right leg. You decide. It's not the same side. It's not the same arm and leg. So put one leg back and one arm forward in opposition. And this actually makes it pretty easy. As you bend that knee and maybe tip it a little bit toward the knee that you're resting on, then you can take the other hand back and perhaps find it, because it's closer. It's not like you have to find it back here. Once you have that, see if you can straighten out the leg you're holding by bringing it back where it should be, kicking the foot into the hand, and lifting your chest, as we call this the crossbow. When you release, stretch the arms and legs in opposition, traditional bird dog, and come back center. We're going to do that again, but let's go to the other side. So turn your other toe under, Reach the opposite arm forward, so make sure you're in opposition. So here's the chi. You bend the back knee and you move it toward the foot that's on the floor, the knee that's on the floor. Walk the hand around. If you need to touch the floor, you can, and you should be able to find your foot. If not, that's okay. You can pretend, intend. Once you have the foot, bringing it back where it should be, kicking the foot into your hand, and pulling up. Releasing the arms in opposition from leg, coming back to all fours, and let's give yourself a moment in child's pose for those people who have some wrist issues. And I will make a little blow. So we're going to do it again, once on each side. Figure out which is your first side as you return to all fours. Toe back, arm forward. So bend the back knee, move it over, so bring that knee over. Reach the hand back. Maybe you get it this time, what do you think? Hold on to the foot, straighten your foot back, and then kick the foot as if trying to break loose of the grip of the hand. Chin up. Release arm and leg. And come back home. So I'm going to show you what if I couldn't get my foot to my hand. No big deal. Be careful, it can cause cramping. So arm and leg in opposition. Bend the back knee, cross it over. Reach with your hand. Let's just say I can't get it. Okay. So then my knee comes up. I'm holding nothing. I'm just intending. And that would be my intention to do the crossbow. Reach out, reach back. Come to all fours. And again, child's pose to just rest your wrist. Okay, we're going to rise, and this time if you have any padding on the mat, you're not going to need it. We're going to do the same series, more or less, standing. So when you're ready, no hands, up you come. Yeah, I'm getting things moving. It's kind of like eating salsa, right? Hot spices will do the same thing. So let me show you, while you're putting your stuff away, I will grab my hands, bend my knees, and put one leg back. So I'm kind of in a crescent pose, correct? And then I'll straighten my arms here. Then I'm going to lean forward into the bent knee, bring my back leg up, cross it over so the other hand can grab the foot, and then maybe I grab both hands to the foot and stand all the way up. And that would be my dancer pose. So I'm here. From here, I hold the opposite hand and opposite foot and kick into my crossbow, returning back to Tadasana. This is going to work a lot of your back. So the dancer pose, if you can, will be both hands on the foot behind. If you can only do one, that's fine. Then you're going to need to transfer so that you can do the crossbow. All right, let's come to the pose. Be at the end of your mat and find Tadasana. Let the arms go up in front, circle around, watch out for walls and things, and grab the hands behind. Straighten the elbows and bend your knees. Whichever foot you want to go back, step back on the ball of the foot and lift your chest. So my dancer pose, I lean forward, keeping the front knee bent, bring the back leg up. However, I can get the back foot into my hand or hands. So that can be same hand, same foot, or that can be opposite hand, opposite foot, and then grab it. You may step out, it happens. Once you have that, find your upright balance. Try to bring the knees side by side. Now keep the foot with the opposite hand. Release the arm on the opposite side, on the same side as your leg that's going back. Gently return back to 2 feet and Tadasana. It's okay if you step out of it. I do all the time. So the arms go up and around and together and straight. Bend the knees. Other foot steps back on the ball of the foot. So right at this point, you're getting grounded in that front leg. And you're keeping the chest open for a better chance of getting your foot. From here, tap the back toe up. And you can think of grabbing it with the opposite hand, might be easier, or the same hand, and then both hands, and then eventually to a standing dancer pose. Hold the foot with the opposite hand of the foot. Release the other arm. Kick the foot into the hand. Opposite arm reaching forward. Bringing the leg back. Mindfully setting your foot down. Tadasana. So that was our practice. Let's try it again on the first side. Tadasana. Breathe. A little lift, open, and bind. Straightening the arms and bending the knees. Choosing one leg, it won't matter which one. One leg will go back. Leaning forward, grounding into that front leg, tapping the back leg up, reaching to grab the foot, stare at something, it helps, and then when ready, stand all the way up. Heel towards your bum. Whichever leg is up, that arm is going to reach forward, the other one holds onto your foot, and you kick into the crossbow. And you breathe. Returning back center, stand on 2 feet, one more time. Tadasana in all the elements. Arms lift, circle, bind, open, bend knees, step back with the other foot into the high lunge, and step up. Reach for the foot with whatever you've got. Could be same hand, opposite hand. Standing into dancer. Holding the foot as best you can with 2 hands. Whichever heel is towards your backside, release that arm. As that arm goes forward, kick the foot into the hand, holding the foot. Crossbow. Breathe. Returning to your Tadasana and taking a few moments of calm breath. So applauding our effort. Let's face with our hands on our hips each other, and let's do that little circle. Remember I said the hula is always really nice to put the sacrum back in its place. Go the other way. So that's back extension. And even if you were doing crossbow but not holding, See, this is me not holding the foot, but I'm kind of doing it. Yeah. And that matters, and it still works your back and extension. Okay, a little hamstring opening before we go back to the mat. Get on your mat long way so it will give you traction. Flip your mat if you need to. And step those feet wide. So this focus is for the back of our legs. This is the easiest one. You're going to do that little breaststroke motion again. Place the hands behind. Grab them, release them. And as the hands come up off the back, you lean forward into the balls of the feet, looking toward the floor or through your legs. Release the hands onto your thighs, bend the knees, and roll yourself up. Check in with your blood pressure. Okay, this one, big circle of the arms. Hands slide down your legs as far as they feel they can go, with keeping your legs straight. Above the knee, below the knee, the ankles, or for some, grabbing the big toe and pulling forward. Putting the hands on your thighs with the knees bent, slowly coming up out of it. Take your time with blood pressure being a concern. Walking those feet together. Okay, this one is going to be more like one side than the other. So we have done this, crossing one foot over. Where that cross is will vary. Right now, my knees are stacked on each other. That might not be good for you. So you may want where here's both of my knees, or you may have them crossed. You need to make it comfortable for you. As I turn to the side, I'll do the hands on my thighs first. There's going to be a temptation when you go forward to actually go backwards. So I want you to try and go forward without letting your hips push back. Use your hands, lead with the heart, forward fold. At some point, the leg that's behind is going to start chatting with you. So you may stop, or you may go, or you may go a little further, or you may end up being the person putting their hands on the floor. Careful you're not going back, stay over, lean into your toes. Now bend the knees, hands to thigh. Watch as you slowly roll up, because your cross is going to be a little wobbly. Once you're up, return center, and we go the other side. Cross the legs so the knees are appropriate. Now, I'm going to give you a different arm option. If you feel you need the hands because your back needs that support, or your hamstrings are really tight, don't do this one. Otherwise, do that little thing, big circle, grab the hands, and now go forward, not backwards. Forward fold. The leg that's behind is the one where you should feel most of the pull. Try not to go back in your feet, lean forward in your toes. If you're feeling any strain on the back, you can always let go and put your hands on your legs or the floor. Go ahead, bend the knees, carefully return to your upright position, being mindful of blood pressure, and then standing. Okay, we're going to go one more standing and then to the floor. So this one's a little more for our hips. You can stand on one leg, tap. You can mirror me if you want, where the right leg's to the side, the arms are out. So option one, tapping the toe across without turning your hips. You've done this before. Squeezing tightly at your inner thighs, and then lifting the arm on the leg that went across. So you have this nice diagonal. And then when it comes back, keep going with the arm so you have this diagonal. So option 1 is touching the mat in front and touching the mat to the side. Option 2, raising the foot off the floor, an element of balance, and lifting the foot, abduction. So you have some variations, and we need not be doing this at the same time, but we should do it with breath. See where your breath makes sense to support the movement that challenges the balance and strengthens our hip. Hold it, lower the arms, return to Tadasana, calm breath. Other side, let's go through the options. Tapping the foot, raising the opposite arm. So foot that's down, the opposite arm is up. Crossing over, squeezing the inner thigh. There's very tight squeezing here. So that first variation, staying in contact with the floor, or floating the leg. Breathe. Last one to the side, hold it there. Both arms out. Tadasana. And breathe. Okay, so we're going to come to the mat. Before we get down to those big hip stretches, we're going to do a little bit for our upper body in the form of chaturangas. So that will be going down, option to go up, baby cobra, cobra, up dog for those who can. Go back down as we work to cultivate pushing our torso without our hips lagging behind up into a downward dog. And we repeat that about 5 times. Access the floor without your hands. So I come to a plank. Your plank can be hands and toes, and if you prefer the option of knees, set the knees down from your plank. So here's my plank. This is option 1. Option 2, set my knees down. The chin is up, the elbows are in, I lower myself down. Chest and hips should land at the same time. Relax my toes. Baby cobra, cobra, up dog, and come down. Toes under, hips up, so that the easiest, but will help you get there, lift the hips just a little. Keep the hips up, press on the hands, come to your plank, downward dog. Don't move the feet. Come back to plank. Go down from knees or toes. Baby cobra, cobra, up dog. And come down. Toes under, you can try with hips up, I'll try. Press off the mat and into downward dog. The hips will want to lag behind. Your effort is to try and keep them up. Return to your plank. From knees or toes, elbows in, lower yourself down. Relax the toes. Baby cobra, cobra, up dog. And come down. Toes under, hips up from knees or toes, elbows in, press off the mat, downward dog. I say one more time as you come to plank. Elbows in, down we go. You can go through knees. Inhale up, exhale down. Hips up from knees or toes. Keep those hips up as you press. Let's move the feet forward on our down dog. Now, if you prefer child's pose or to be on your knuckles because there's a wrist thing, use your options. Come down to the knees and come seated facing me. And you might want to sit on a blanket or a pillow. So I have my left leg tucked in and my right leg is stretched out. So I'm going to be leaning toward this leg. So you may want this knee a little less bent if that bothers. So kind of figure out where this is manageable. Sitting on both your bones. When you lean this way, a couple of options with the arms. Safest option is to have the right arm with the right leg out behind. The left arm goes up to create space and spinal stretch, and then you reach, not turning to the leg, stretching out. If you feel you want the arm outward, but still lending support, that will work. And then if you want both arms out in kind of a funnel, you can. So, sitting tall, arms open, one hand can go down or behind, or stay where it is. Other arm goes up as you laterally lean, opening your side, but keeping your face forward. If you see your arm in your face, it should come back up. If you feel your back unduly, put your hand down or behind you. Keep opening the body, stiffening the arm, and breathe. We'll all raise the top arm, return back center, drop the arms, pull the extended leg in, put the leg that was tucked in out, and come to sit nice and tall. You see how I rock around. Same options here, hand or hand or hand. So inhale, lift your spine. Exhale, right arm up. As you laterally lean, don't cover your face. So you're either here with both arms creating or framing your face, or you have one hand down for support, or you have one hand back behind you. Breathe. Top arm is going to release. Bottom arm will come up. And we pull the legs in. Now I want you to notice how tall you kind of tend to be right now. So we'll go and do it a second time with a different option of arms. Left leg in, right leg out. So we've already created some space that we're going to continue to use. You can still use that hand behind. Only this time it's going to be it's going to be this hand behind. Hold on. No, it'll be the left hand behind, and the right arm is either going to reach in front, and you can hold the knee, and then reach up the other arm. So you can now cross over. So you go here. You can use the hand back where it was. So we're still doing a lateral lean. The only difference is you can take this arm in until you've got something to hold on to here. Then lift up and then laterally lean, she said, efforting. So I'm holding onto my knee or my shin and I'm laterally leaning. Again, not to block my face. Stiffen your elbow. Look ceiling way. Release the high arm. Draw the open leg in, the bent leg out. So you can do this like we did before, or this, or you can bring the hand from behind to grab the opposite leg. Once you've got it, reach the arm up and then laterally lean. Same way that we did. It's just your arm is either in front, out, or behind to support your back. Stiffen your elbow. Release the high hand. Come to sit, and I want you to notice your torso should feel more lifted and less, and when it goes to sink, your body said, that's not right. So we're going to pay attention to that. Moving on to our backs. So we're going to do toe touches. depending on how your back is feeling today, and keeping it in that neutral position, not letting it artificially push down, but keeping the abdominal wall supporting it. We're going to have one toe lift, and then if you want, you can simultaneously lift them. Where the legs go matters not to me. So once you get down here, and I'll hold my head up so I can show you, but you could put a pillow under it if you want. Again, my back is not forcing down. I want that neutral position. Tighten the abdominal wall, bandhas as well, and then you lift the heels, so just your toe tapping. So you can do one leg up, touch it down. When done slowly, you'll figure out how things are working because there's no weight in your feet. If you feel like, well, this isn't too hard, Karen, then maybe you'll do simultaneously moving the legs. If you wanted to maybe move your legs outward or upward, that would be okay. It doesn't really change a whole lot. The fact is that you're not putting weight into your legs to support your back. So I want you to kind of figure that out as I take a moment here to relieve myself. So using the pillow of your hands or the pillow of a pillow, this is kind of a dream walk, so you're not going fast. Make sure your low back is not pressing into the mat, but that the abdominal wall is very tight. If I push my back down, it changes. If you need a break, you can drop the head, put the knees in, and breathe. If you can keep going, keep going. If you need to blow your nose, blow your nose. Okay, let's again use the pillow or the hands as a pillow. Bring the knees together with the feet up, and we're going to try and knock ourselves off balance. So that as my legs lean to one side, if I don't stop in time, I may lose control and fall. I won't hurt myself, but I want to get to that point before I fall where I feel like, ugh, and that's the challenge of the core work here. So I have my feet up, my knees are not close, and again, neutral spine, so a soft lower back, but a hard core. Rest your head in your hands and let your legs shift. You're using the weight of the legs to challenge your core. How far can you go without knocking yourself off balance? And breathe. Coming back center. And once you try one side, try the other side. I wouldn't be surprised if you felt you had more control over going one side more than the other. Keep breathing. There is a tendency to hold your breath. Bandhas and breath. It's always bandhas and breath. So this doesn't feel really, really hard, but it is very mindful. I could make it easy and not really challenge myself, or I could get to that tipping point, literally. Keep your knees together when you go and come back. When you feel you've had enough, again, draw the knees in, let the head rest. We'll do a walking bridge pose, so my feet come down, find the space that you need, and then elevate your hips. So for this one, you don't want to tuck your shoulders in. The hands can be down or hovering above the floor. And you're gonna walk. So the thing is, when you're walking in a bridge pose, there's a tendency to real shift. So the idea to utilize the core is to pick up a foot without making that big shift. And you'll just learn a lot about yourself. And breathe. The walk is not really a big lift of your foot. Make that switch slow. So the hips are elevated. If you can't really tell by my shirt, I'm not resting my hips down. So what needs to happen is your stabilizers of your core have to hold the body still so you can walk. And this puts more onus into your glutes or your back section. Very much a fan of working those. And lower the hips, bring the knees in. Option to lift the legs up, either way. So you can roll to your side, or you can drop the legs and get a free ride up. Pigeon pose. If you want to use the chair, it's a fine option. If you look at what we're doing here and go, yeah, my knees don't like that, my back doesn't like that, this is always good to go to. And I've showed you lots of variations, including a slight lean to get more out of it. So know that pigeon pose is great for a little muscle called the piriformis, and it interacts with the sciatic nerve. So if you're having some issues where you feel radiating down your leg, even as simple as sitting in a chair in figure 4, sitting up tall and hinging forward, can kind of help move things around and maybe relieve some pain. Just saying. All right, so you can use a pillow for a couple of reasons. It can help with knees. So here's our traditional pigeon pose setup. So if I were to place the pillow here, I put my shin, foot on one side, knee on the other side, hip slightly elevated, other leg behind. Otherwise, I will show you. Let me show you with this leg. So I've got a foot and a knee going over the pillow, and then my leg going back. So my hip is sitting on the pillow, and I see my foot is at one side of the mat and my knee on the other side. Then I drop the hip down, and I want to start in this upright. Eventually, I can slowly walk forward and sink into it. Do you need a pillow here? Maybe not, but it can fill a little space if you can't get the alignment, because what will happen for many people is the foot comes back here, and then you're not in the hip at all. You're just kind of laying down going, this is really nice. So let's try and access the hip in one of the ways, the chair, the back, or traditional pigeon pose. So if you're in traditional pigeon pose and you walk your hands forward, think of lengthening the spine. You may be the person that can lay all the way down and have a little nap. So before you come out, wherever you are, bring yourself upright. If you're on the chair, you're going to turn the back toe down, leverage yourself up so you can safely pull the foot off the chair, holding the seat of the chair, not the back of the chair. It could move. If you're in traditional like me, you've got two options. You can either roll to the side of the leg in front, or you can lift the hips up and pull that foot back. If you're on your back, you're simply going to go to the other side. So I'm going to show you another option if you're using a prop like a towel. If you have a knee issue, kind of still dealing with my knee issue, and compression of the knee is problematic, rather than putting this under your tush and your knee in front of it, put your knee on it. So here's my foot. I just happen to have a long pillow, and my knee goes to one end of the pillow and the other side. So my foot comes down, and it makes my knee, so here I am. So my knee is a little elevated, and I wiggle back. So what I've done is I've minimized the compression on my knee by putting a pillow under it, and I still have the alignment, and I don't feel the pressure immediately on my knee. If you just can't get that right, feel free to go to your back. It's always safe. All right, everybody move into your variation on pigeon pose. As you gently move your way out of the pigeon pose, careful coming off that chair, hands on the seat of the chair, turn the back toe under, pull that top leg off. If you're like me, you can lean to one side, bring the leg around. If you're on your back, you can stay on your back. So we're going to do a little pranayama. You can do it laying down, or you can do it seated. I'm going to come over and sit closer to you. Let me, again, amend my nose. Not too bad. So the pranayama, do you remember pranayama, the term? So pranayama is life force. So the life force is the breath. If you're not breathing, there's not a whole lot of life force going on. So the breath, for me, a little challenging because the nasal passages are a little congested. So I work with what I can. If you have tissues nearby, use them so you can clear the palate. We're just going to work on what's called a two-count breath, two-part breath, I mean. So the breath normally will have its cadence of full and empty. You can ascribe numbers to it. If you wanted to go like 1 to 6 or 1 to 8 and back down. I sometimes just think of a number line. It doesn't matter where it is on the number. I just kind of visualize it going somewhere and coming back to the start point. And then we'll practice that a little bit. And at some point, we'll go halfway, pause, all the way, pause, back to halfway, and then back to the beginning point. So this really helps to kind of slow down and calm the mind. It really helps us facilitate maybe a deeper breath than we might normally take. And it's a good tool to have in your box of when you need to like get a little zen. So everybody is either on their back or seated comfortably. Bandhas, and now we move to the breath. So with your eyes open, lowered, or closed, get the natural breath. And now enlarge that breath. So maybe you think of that number line, horizontal or vertical. Maybe you think of going to a certain number. So there is a certain amount of equality of the breath. So next time you take the breath in, pause at the end of the inhale and come back down and exhale and pause there. Inhale, pause at the end, exhale, and pause at the end. Continue this breathing. Let it feel natural. Let it take hold. So as you travel out and back with this breath, try and identify where the midpoint is. And when you reach that midpoint, both going and coming, pause for a moment there. For example, breathing in, pausing, continuing to breathe in, pausing, breathing out, pausing, continuing to breathe all the way out, and pausing. So continue this two-part breath. Let it become your natural breath of breathing in and pausing, breathing more in and pausing. So the breath is being done, this two-part breath, with less effort, as the body understands what you need for it to do and responds. Come back to that nice long breath all the way out to the end and all the way back to the beginning, with no pause in between. Notice how that perhaps makes you feel a little freer. And now allow your breath to become its own. And once you allow the breath to become its own, maybe you notice your beating heart. Maybe you begin to notice that monkey mind. Because now we shift to the doing of nothing. This moment of quiet where thoughts may come, but we just show them the other side so they can pass right through. And we use the techniques either through meditation or just practicing Shavasana, or thinking of nature, or being with that breath, and waiting for the singing bowl, as this time is yours. And there with our singing bowl is your request to return to the here, to the now, by deepening the breath, wiggling the fingers and toes and acquainting yourself with that calm and remembering where it is. So as you retain that position, or perhaps roll onto your side, our thoughts for today. Miguel de Cervantes Saavedra said, among the attributes of God, although they are equal, mercy shines even more brilliance than justice. All faiths' tradition incorporates ideals of justice and mercy. We, as representatives of our faith, are drawn to both ideals. We crave the order and sanity that the ideal of justice brings. Those who harm others should be punished. Those who have been harmed should receive reparation. Even more, we crave the redemption that the ideal of mercy brings. We may not be perfect. We may make mistakes, but we should be given the opportunity to do better. And so thought for us today. When I am wronged, my first instinct is to want some kind of justice. I will be a better person if I can show mercy towards the person who wronged me. Lots of examples of that, don't you think? So go ahead and bring yourself up to a seated position. And you may feel different, so as you come to sit, it will settle down as you get yourself upright. And once you're sitting, stretch those arms out to really just embrace this day, this moment. And lifting the arms and lifting the heart and joining the palms together and then placing them at our heart. The light in me honors the light in you. The goodness in me honors the goodness in you. The well wishes for holiday are sent to you. Namaste. So thank you for your patience. I didn't cough too much. I didn't cough during Shavasana. That was really good. But keep washing your hands and doing your saline solutions or whatever you do to keep yourself healthy. And we will have one last practice before we tick over into a new year. I hope you can be here. If not, I'll send you the recording. Namaste.